Story 1: The Light Between the Trees. I went camping with my best friend Jake last summer, deep in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. We picked a remote clearing miles off the trail, no cell signal, no traffic noise. Just pine trees, stars, and silence. The first day went fine. We hiked, made camp by a creek, grilled some food. That night the sky was unusually clear. I remember staring up and counting satellites, or at least what I thought were satellites. One of them was just hovering. Then it suddenly zipped across the sky in a blink. Jake laughed it off. "You've been watching too much YouTube, man." We went to sleep around midnight. That's when it began. I woke up to a faint humming, not loud, almost like a vibration in the air. Then I saw it, a soft, bluish light moving between the trees. It wasn't flickering like fire or steady like a flashlight. It pulsed, like it was alive. "Jake," I whispered, shaking him awake. "You seeing this?" He sat up, and when his eyes adjusted, he froze. "That's not normal," he muttered. We unzipped the tent and stepped outside. The forest was dead quiet. The light hovered maybe 40 feet away. It didn't cast shadows. It didn't reflect. It just was, moving, floating, slowly, like it was searching. Then it stopped and turned. It's hard to explain. It was just light, but somehow we felt it look at us. It knew we were there. Then with a faint, high-pitched whine, it blinked out. Gone. No sound, no movement, just night. The next morning we checked the area. No footprints, no fire pits, but the ground where the light had hovered, it was dry and cracked like something had sucked the moisture out of it. A perfect circle. And then we found the tree, carved deep into the bark, old and twisted. You are not alone. But that's not the worst part. When we got home, Jake told me his phone wouldn't turn on. We plugged it in and looked at the gallery. All the photos from the trip gone, except one, a blurry shot we didn't take. It looked like the sky, stars, and in the center, a bright, glowing orb with lines radiating outward like tendrils. We stared at it in silence. Then his phone died completely and never turned back on. We never went camping again. Story 2: Don't go camping alone. I've always liked being alone in nature. It clears my head. No notifications, no people, just silence. So last September, I took a solo trip up to a remote lake in northern Minnesota. No official campsite, just a small patch of flat land beside the water, surrounded by thick forest. I parked my truck about 2 miles down the logging road and hiked in with my gear. It was peaceful at first. I set up my tent, fished a little, made dinner over the fire, and watched the sun set across the lake. The sky turned that deep purple blue and stars started blinking on. It was perfect, until it wasn't. Around 11 p.m., I was sitting by the dying fire when I noticed a light on the opposite side of the lake. At first, I assumed someone else had set up camp. But it was weird. There hadn't been any cars on the road, and the trail was so overgrown I doubted anyone else would bother coming out here. Still, the light was steady like a lantern. I figured, okay, maybe someone made it here before me, but then it moved. Not in a walking way, it glided, smoothly, parallel to the shoreline, then it stopped. I stared across the water, trying to make out a figure, but it was too dark. The light just hovered there, then it went out. I waited a few minutes, then shrugged it off and got into my tent. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up to the sound of something crunching outside, slow, deliberate steps. At first I thought deer, but deer don't walk in circles. The sound moved around my tent twice, then stopped directly behind my head. I held my breath. My bear spray was in my backpack, just out of reach. I didn't move. Minutes passed. Silence. Then, zip, I swear on my life, the zipper on my tent began to move just an inch. Then it stopped. I burst out of the tent screaming, holding my flashlight like a weapon, but there was no one there. No footprints, no broken twigs, nothing. The woods were still. But across the lake, that same light flickered on again, right at the waterline. Only now it looked closer. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. At sunrise, I packed up fast and started hiking back to the truck. When I got to the trailhead, I saw something that made my stomach drop. On my windshield, written in the dust, were 3 words: "Next time stay. I don't camp alone anymore." Story 3: The One Who Sat by the Fire. This happened 3 years ago during a weekend camping trip in the Appalachian Mountains. There were 5 of us, all friends from college. We met up once a year to escape the city, sit by a fire, and catch up. That year, we chose a remote spot about 4 hours from cell service. just forest, mountains, and stars. The first night was great. We drank, joked around, roasted marshmallows, and stayed up late telling dumb stories from our school days. At some point, someone brought out a Bluetooth speaker and played soft music while we all sat in a circle around the fire. That's when I noticed him, a man, or at least a silhouette, sitting at the edge of the firelight, just out of the circle, like he didn't want to be noticed but still wanted to be there. I thought it was Brian's friend, maybe someone who'd come late or hiked in from a nearby trail. He was sitting on a log, his face in shadow, still, watching the flames, not talking, not drinking, just sitting. I leaned over to Alex, who was next to me, and asked, "Hey, who's that guy?" Alex looked confused. "What guy?" I gestured subtly, not wanting to be rude, sitting over there by the edge of the fire. He turned and looked, then looked back at me. "There's no one there, dude." I glanced again. Gone, the log was empty. No one had stood up, no sound of movement, just firelight and night. I didn't say anything after that. I figured it was a trick of the light. Maybe I was drunker than I thought. The next morning, I half-jokingly asked the group, "Did anyone else see a sixth person by the fire last night?" Everyone looked at me like I was crazy. Nope, we were 5 the whole time. Why? I dropped it. What else could I say? But that's not the end. A few days later, we were sharing photos in the group chat. Just casual shots of us laughing, posing with beers, sitting around the campfire. Then one picture popped up, a wide shot taken by Brian, probably on a timer. We were all there, sitting in a circle. 6 people, 5 of us clearly identifiable, and one dark, blurry figure sitting on the log just outside the firelight. No face, no features, just watching. Brian swore he didn't edit it. The photo had the right timestamp. No one could explain it. We still go camping, but now we never sit in a circle anymore, and we always count each other. Twice.